The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories, share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the lovely Izzy. And she's not a northerner, even though her father is. And her father wants her to be a structural engineer or civil engineer.
Happen, no.
But she's saying it's not going to happen. And she's just going to tell us about her journey of life and see what we can learn from her experiences. And just take it from there. So nice to have you here today, Izzy.
Lovely to be here, honestly. What a pleasure. I honestly feel like I'm being interviewed like I'm a professional. I'm a celeb. And I'm not a celeb at all.
So you've had a good weekend, Izzy?
I had a good weekend. I graduated actually on Friday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What did you graduate in?
Journalism.
Okay. So you can tell a story or two?
I can tell a story or two. I don't know about that. I think I just chat a bit too much. Wouldn't be very good on broadcast TV getting the news, would I? I'd talk a bit too much.
Maybe Loose Women. You could be on the show Loose Women.
That'd be quite fun.
I interviewed a researcher for Loose Women the other day.
Oh my gosh,
And
I'd love to be a researcher. Well, shout out to the researcher if she ever listens to that podcast.
Hook me up.
Yeah, it's for Wacket.
Okay. So have you got any jobs lined up now?
Yes, I'm working in PR at the moment in Soho, which I do actually really enjoy. I did work as in a previous job, and it was with like some celebrities. I'm not going to disclose these celebrities, but I will after this podcast finished. I'll tell you who they were. They were some nasty people. I did do that for a bit.
Is that nasty in personality or nasty
just
in
a
hygiene?
bit egotistical. They weren't the nicest. So I quit that, and then I've joined this lovely PR agency.
You can always name and shame if you want to.
Do you? No, I don't know.
It's up to you. People are horrible. The world deserves to know about it.
I don't know.
I sound like a journalist now. The world deserves to know about it.
It's true though. I don't know.
All right, tell me what was done. Don't name any names. Tell me what we've done, and we'll talk about it from there.
Okay. Well, this lady used to. So I had her WhatsApp, and so I worked. So my boss was ex editor from the Mirror, and he was very, very clever man, and he went into PR, and then he started doing more celebrity PR, so worked with lots of like different celebrities. Not really A-list celebrities, but I think in the UK most people who'd know who this woman was. And this woman just loved herself a bit too much, and she'd always just call me 24/7, like she'd expect you to be at her beck and call. So like, on like I'm talking bank holidays, Christmas, she called me on my Christmas day and shouted at me because she was just not very nice. She was really nasty.
Shouted at you?
Yeah.
What did you say to her?
I didn't really say anything. I just was a bit of a wet wipe then and just kind of thought
My other thing, I'd have said stop. There's nothing in my job description that says shouting at me. So if you're going to shout at me, you need to add about 6 more zeros on the end of my pay.
Honestly, she was just a horrible lady. And yeah, I don't know, I don't think the job suited me, and it was in quite a small company, and there was just me, at one point just me and my manager working, and another girl. So there's only 3 of us, but I'm quite good at I feel like I chat quite a lot. So I quite liked, different people. I get bored easily. But yeah, anyway, this one wasn't very nice, but yeah, that's about it really. And then I got a new job, and then I was like, oh, actually, I deserve better than this. And then I handed my notice in, which was really good because then you don't get that a month, don't you? Get a month after you've handed your notice in, and no one cares. You can just do the worst job ever, and no one can tell you what. It's great.
What did you learn from all that experience?
Not to be a wet wipe. Stand up for yourself, and that people can be really mean in the world, which was sad.
We have a saying in Jamaica. People.
We used to live in Jamaica when I was younger.
Okay, well, we have something in common. What part of Jamaica?
We lived in Kingston. My parents lived in Kingston for 10 years. All my sisters were born there. I was born in the UK. It really upsets me to this day. All 3 of them.
So they all got Jamaican passports?
Yeah, all of them got Jamaican passports.
What age did they come back to England?
So I came back when I was 3. So my older sister was 7. Yeah.
So did they have Jamaican accents?
Yeah, my older sister had Jamaican accent. She's really
crystal clear white girl.
Blonde hair, my older sister as well.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. With a real strong Jamaican accent.
Yeah,
Well, our saying is out of many comes one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many different races, but we're one people.
Exactly, it's so true.
Yeah. But what I was saying, the other saying is people treat you the way you let them treat you.
Yeah, that's so true as well.
So when people complaining that someone's treating me like this, well, it's your own fault.
Yeah, it's true. And I honestly, after that, I wouldn't get. I think as well, when you first come out of university, I think as well, you're quite, I'm still really young. You're really impressionable, and I think you get a job and you want to do really well. And then when someone's, not treating you as you really kind of think you should be treated as an employee, part of you just think that's normal, so you just accept it. And then as you speak to more and more people, more and more friends, they're like, hang on, Izzy, that's just not professional. That's not how working life is done. And then you just thought, actually, no.
But that woman would have just been unhappy. Was she married?
No.
Exactly.
No family.
No kids.
No kids.
See, that's why the career, that attitude where women get the feminists talk about career women and it's all great. It's not. No one wants to be alone. You want to have company. And the beauty is of a man, you can just get someone pregnant and you have to finance everything, but women, you got to make that decision.
Yeah, that is true, and it's sad because obviously, I really want to have a nice career, and I don't get it wrong. I know loads of people want careers, and I think you can. It's hard, but you can do both. But personally, for me, I do.
Can you do both well, though?
That's the thing.
So I speak to lots of nannies. I've interviewed lots of nannies, and they really don't like the career women that they look after their children.
Well, my mum had a career, but she gave it up because she had 4 girls. You can't, 4 girls under 5. Like, she really popped them out.
Well, she married a northerner.
She married a northerner, that's what it goes, isn't it?
That's what it comes down to. Your parents are going to listen to this and say, where's that taxi driver talking about us?
No,
like
we
this?
all know. My family, everyone knows that Northern, my parents. There's nothing wrong with one of my best friends in Northern, but it's just the accent sometimes really gets you, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you said you was a canoeist instructor?
So I was saying in the Ardèche. So I used to work at PGL, and when we were there was one child that would come every single. She came. So I worked 2 summers. She came both summers, but So in the UK they're called PGL. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's basically like an activity camp where people go and basically do loads of activities for a week or 2 weeks. And this girl would go in the UK, so she'd finished, she'd board, and then her parents would send her to this activity camp in the UK for 2 weeks, and then from the UK she'd then get sent to the one where we were for 2 weeks, and then she'd get sent back to I think it was like another camp for 2. So for the 6 weeks that she'd have off school, she didn't even see her parents. And I just think, why have you got a child? I don't know, that sounds mean, but
no, but you're right.
Why have a kid if you're never going to see it? And I know some people want, good education, and I do agree with that, but it gets to the point where I'm like, I just don't understand why
but it's not all about the education, some people may say.
Yeah, and also you can have good education, but it doesn't make you a nice person.
Thank you. And we have life skills as parents. I have 4 children. So we have, and 2 grandchildren. But we have life skills as parents that we can pass on.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you really need to know your child's character, and also people forget the way you treat your children is the way they're going to treat you when you're old.
That's
so you want to show them lots of love.
Yeah, and then also respect as well. Like you want to, I was terrified of my mum when I grew up. Not in a hard way, not in a bad way, in a good way. Like you just didn't want to, piss her off. Sorry if I can swear, but you didn't want to annoy her because, you'd get told off, as you should be. Like I think my mum was so strict. I wasn't allowed to do loads of things when I was young. And you always go to my dad, and be like, oh, can we do this? Can we go here? Can we go to this party? And then he'd be like, yeah. And then my mum would be like, Andy, why have you said yes to them? And then
he said, I thought.
Yeah. And I was like, alright.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things.
But it's good though. She's not strict now.
But then that's the parents' communication, because what your dad should say is, what did your mum say?
He never said that, so that's true.
Yeah, that's what you say. Whatever your mum says, it's alright. If you ask your mum, well, go and ask your mum.
Go ask your mum. Yeah. Sometimes that would happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd be like, yeah, she said yeah, and he'd know that you've lied.
So you lying to me? On pain of death or PlayStation?
Exactly.
Or, play the PlayStation. Or mobile phone, yeah. So do you want many children?
Yeah, I want a big family. I think I've come from a big family. My cousin, we've come from a really big family. So my mum's got 2 other sisters, and her older sister got 3 kids, and her second older sister has got 6 kids. So I've got, and then as 4, we've become a big family. We don't really chat to my dad's family as much because my dad's family, my dad's family's really sad. My dad doesn't get on with his family. It's really sad.
He was a what?
Doesn't get on with his family. There's lots of parents got divorced, and when he was younger they cheated. I don't know, lots of cheating and stuff like that. And
it's not these things happen in life, They happen, but we move on.
Yeah.
We make the most of things in life.
Exactly. But yeah, I do want quite a big.
So you tell us about this kayaking. Kayaking?
It was kayak. It was good fun. Good fun.
Who were you teaching?
Just like kids. Well, I was a kid myself. I was only 18, 19. I'm still a child.
So you was
now.
an instructor?
Yeah. Just canoeing, which is fun.
What would be your advice to somebody who wants to learn to kayak?
Just don't be hungover, because that is illegal.
Don't be hangover.
Don't go out on the rivers hungover.
Where was you doing this? In England?
No, France.
France. Okay.
Yeah, in the Ardèche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, we weren't we could go out and we weren't, but that's making me sound like
What a wild girl.
I'm really not, to be honest with you.
Well, you're a happy girl. Happy lady.
I am a happy lady.
Okay. So the skills in this kayaking, what's the difference between kayaking and canoeing?
Kayak's in the spiky thing, like this, almost like it's the ones where they kind of go like this.
Slim, and there's one person sits
With
in
the
the middle.
canoe, you can have more people in there essentially. So kayaks, you can have 1 or 2 persons.
So kayaks are Eskimos or Inuits, and canoes are Indians from North America.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fun. All good fun and games. I mean, when I first did that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Could you roll?
I'm not that. I'm really not that experienced.
I found when I used to kayak is that it develops your back muscles, so you have to sit up straight.
And really good core muscles as well, and posture, and then also obviously your arms.
Yeah. People kayak on the Thames, but I don't think that's a good idea because of the sewer.
Yeah, and also I think doesn't the Thames have some kind of undercurrent? I want to say as well. I don't know if it's that.
I don't know about undercurrent. I know it's got a
know.
current. It's going to take you one way or another.
Oh, I don't know about. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go.
Well, I know there's a guy who jumped in the Thames to save somebody the other day.
Really?
And he drowned, but saved the person.
Oh my God, that's
but
awful.
to me, if you jump in the Thames, you don't jump into the Thames with your shoes on, or with your jeans on. You take your trousers off. You jump in.
Yeah, you take.
Take
you learn.
learn
Yeah,
but not everybody learns.
Yeah.
And then you allow the river to take you and just float and just go with the current. And then either side of the walls has a chain on. Once you hit the wall, you just grab the chain and pull yourself along.
Yeah.
Don't swallow the water because it's sewer water. It's like being in someone's toilet.
Honestly, that Thames looks so great. Oh.
But you heard about the new tunnel they're building underneath?
No.
There's a tidalway tunnel that goes the length of the Thames, and it's a sewer tunnel, and it's wide enough to fit 3 buses through, side by side. It's the biggest environmental project in Europe.
Yeah.
And it's designed to take all the foul from the city out down to East London, Barking. So if you live in Barking, it's not the place to live.
That's not the one.
Yeah, and they're gonna, or Dagenham, Barking, and they're gonna treat the waste there and stuff like that.
That's good though, to be fair.
So now people won't have to be, the government won't have to be letting the companies let the sewers into the local rivers. Then ideally, the Thames water should clear up eventually and go more crystal clean water. Then maybe you get water sports in the water.
Oh,
but I think it'd take a couple of years to clear up. After they've meant to finish it 2024.
That's not bad. That's quite soon.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 2025 to the lockdown. But the point being, when it is get finished, I reckon it'll take 2 years for the Thames to properly clear up and to get proper life.
Oh, how
in there.
nice! Imagine if you could go swimming in the Thames.
Well,
I don't know if you could though, still could
a lot
you?
of people kill themselves in the Thames, though.
Yeah, do you reckon how many bodies are in the Thames, do you reckon?
There's a lot of people.
I reckon
Because
as well,
spoke-
murderers.
I did a podcast with a tugboat driver, and he says he takes the rubbish down the Thames, and he said that once a week they always find a dead body in the Thames. That's 52 bodies a year. He said on average.
That's really sad.
I don't know. It depends how they died. Depends on what they did. They might have been bad people.
They might have been bad people, but
See, and stuff like that.
yeah, that's true. That's a bit sad though.
Did you ever have a scary moment in kayaking? Where you
There
thought-
was one moment when a kid fell in, and I was there. So it was me and my partner Joe, and he was like actually professional. I don't really know how I just got a qualifications. I didn't actually.
So he was he your partner, like partner as in
No.
partner?
Oh
or
no, as in
working
like
partner?
working. Like, yeah, I guess a colleague. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you'd always go in twos or threes. You never do it alone. And there was this one kid kind of went under. I mean, obviously we all have like life jackets on. There's one kid when I just kind of fell in, and he was clearly really bad, but he was really like clearly panicking, and he couldn't really swim that much at all, and he was like failing around, and I don't know, I just got really. I mean, he had a life jacket on, but you know, he's just really. I was like, oh my god, I'm
So
literally
even though
responsible for this child, and
Yeah.
this child literally. But Joe was like, went over, literally grabbed him from their thing and shoved him on his box. I mean, it sounds mean, but he was quite a tubby kid, so it was
He's
like
quite a dopey
he
kid.
was quite tubby.
A fat
Yeah,
kid.
little fat chap. Oh, that's a bit mean to say that, but yeah, I guess he was quite fat.
No,
Wasn't
if
he?
you're
Yeah.
fat, you're fat, isn't it?
That's true.
Why are you going to start making up new words for fat? Everybody knows it means fat.
That is true.
You know what that's
the
like?
thing, though,
You know what that's
can't
like?
say-
Do you remember the Spastic Society? Do you remember that?
Oh,
You ever heard of? Maybe it's a bit before your time. You know, so you heard of Scope,
no.
company Scope. Okay, well, the Spastic Society was actually to help people who are like Down syndrome or something like that. So in schools, I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you insult another kid, you go, you spastic. Yeah.
Oh god,
So
that's not great.
what happened? They decided that it's got a bad image, and they're
Yeah.
going to change it. And they're going to change it to Scope. So they spent millions and millions of pounds rebranding the brand names and everything, and making it give a new image. Now it's Scope. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
And all their kids went around in school and, you Scope.
Oh no. Oh dear.
So that's the point. Is an insult's an insult. Yeah, and kids are
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, you were saying, so the kid's tubby or fat, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
It was a bit. Yeah, just kind of scared, but I thought, oh, guy's gonna. I mean, you know they're not going to because they've got a life jacket on. But it's just when you see panic in someone else's eyes, it really. I wasn't very cool, calm, and collected. I have to say.
Mhm.
I think I can get flustered. I'm not the best in stressful situations. I couldn't have been a doctor.
Okay, I had a very good conversation with a doctor, a surgeon,
Oh.
because what happens with surgeons now, this guy, he's teaching people who taught him to be a surgeon how to do it in a modern fashion with a robot.
Yeah, so my boyfriend was talking about this because he's studying medicine, and he was saying that he had a lecture, and they had like a lecture, and in a couple of years' time it's going to be like not robots, but it's like
Robots.
Yeah, doing-
That's what he's training people to do around the country, around the world.
That's insane.
I'm telling him he should start a company where he gets a license, but he said he wants to spend time with his company. I should have recorded the interview. We spoke for 2 hours.
a lot more interesting than my one.
That's good. That's good. This is it's all a bit all over. It's like our personalities. It's a bit here and there, that kind of thing. Similar in those bases. But it was a really good interview, and he talked about how you put your hand in this machine, and whatever you're doing with your hand in machines is what is happening with the other end, and the knife and all the scalpels and everything. And he opens people's up, so he cages people and deals with their inner organs.
Yeah.
All this stuff. He's talked about knife crime. He talked about pregnancy. He talked about all the major things.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating. Some of it is a bit too much for me. I'm a bit of a.
I get a bit queasy.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd faint.
When were you born? What are you Capricorn? When's your?
Gemini.
Okay, I don't know if that's near. What month is that?
May.
Okay.
End of May.
Okay, so okay. because we seem to have a bit in common here. But yeah, it was really fascinating, and if I'd recorded it, then your boyfriend would have probably found it very interesting to listen to. It was 2 hours, but if you're a medical student, you would listen to it for the 2 hours.
Something
you know, it's a niche thing. You just post it in the right Facebook chat.
And then they love it. Yeah.
And that's what I need to do a lot of my episodes. Just find the right Facebook chats.
Yeah.
And then just start posting specific episodes and then have a
Definitely.
listen to this.
When did you start this up?
I started about 3 years ago.
Oh, it's such a clever idea.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So that's what I think I need to be doing.
Maybe you should get like someone out like to help you do it. Get someone
I've got somebody who's meant to be doing certain things, but it's not really working out, to be honest. But we will see what happens in time.
Well, I will let everyone in the office know about your podcast.
Thank you.
Because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for Izzy?
I want to move abroad. I want to move abroad in a hot country, somewhere nice, somewhere not as uptight as England. I think England's a bit uptight. I don't know. Somewhere abroad that's a bit more laid back.
Do you want to move abroad indefinitely?
No, not forever. I don't know. I want my kids to be able to speak another language.
Okay, so we talk about Jamaica again. Your dad's a structural engineer.
Yeah, so my dad and my mum moved out to... So my dad got a job in initially Barbados. So he worked in Sandy Lanes. Sandy Lanes. And my mum didn't have a job, but she just moved out there with him. And then that was only for like a year. I think it was like a year. And then he got another job in Kingston. And my mum is a podiatrist, so she works like on people's feet, hips, knees, and she used to be a nurse, so she's quite like medically trained, and obviously not a doctor, but very medically trained. And so she got a job in like a local, I think she just worked in a local hospital or something like that. So she just worked out there, and whilst my dad was working out there, they got married, and then they had my second older sister, came back on holiday and had me out back here, then moved back out, and had my younger sister.
Have you been back to Jamaica since?
No, we've never been back, and I really, really, really want to go. My mum really wants to go. My dad wants to go. I think it's quite expensive. My dad was saying now it's like everyone goes, loads of like all the stars and everything go there. So it's like it's got so expensive, and everyone goes.
You're going to my house, you know. I'm dropping you next to my house.
Where do you live?
I won't say on the radio. But at this point, I was just looking. I'm going straight home.
Don't baby.
Yeah, but okay. But your dad doesn't want you. He wants to go, but it's expensive now.
Yeah, it's so expensive, and yeah, it's a shame. I think there's quite a lot of us. So obviously, flights are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I would love to go back. I think one day my dad would like to go back there and.
So wait a minute. You don't live here, do you?
I rent. I don't live here. So it's not my house.
I live here. See where the garage door is.
There.
I live there.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I live just down there.
So we live on the
I'll
same
come
street.
and help you do your podcast. I actually would. I'm not even joking. This is so fun.
See, this is
we're neighbours.
That's my flat. See the windows at the top would open there.
Oh my god, we're actually neighbours.
Yeah, that's my neighbour. That's my neighbours there.
Come over for tea or coffee anytime. If you need a nanny.
No, I don't need a nanny. My kids don't live with me.
Oh, so extra cash. Don't mind. I'll just come over.
Well, okay. Well, here we are.
That's so funny.
That's very surprising. So you lived here long?
Just since September.
So you was here when the fire started on the street. There was a fire. They did a basement extension. And then what happened, let me just put it over here, and then in the street, the cable, because there's ground movement, the cable snapped, and there's a big boom, and all our power went off. Because they dig down. You'll see one of these houses. It might be this one.
Maybe it was mine, I don't know.
No, but you're on the other side, not on this side, are you? I know, look at me, I haven't even finished the episode. But great episode. Great little chit chat, just a chit chat about anything, and we wish you well. We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.